January, the Supreme Court upheld the election of the governor of Kano State, Abba Kabir Yusuf, of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. The judgment averted what might have snowballed into a big political crisis between the NNPP and the major opposition party in the state, the All Progressives Congress, APC. The verdicts overturned the ruling of the Court of Appeal and that of the State Election Petition Tribunal that earlier nullified the election of Governor Yusuf. In 2024, the crisis within the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party did not cease. PDP, the internal crisis became more pronounced with the calls for the removal of Umar Damagum.
Post-2023 general election. Post-2023 general election, considering the leadership tussle in the PDP and in the Labour Party. How healthy is this for the democratic culture?
Well, when a man gets to 25 years, I do not think we need to start describing the man as somebody who is just learning the ropes. To attain the age of 25 is something very important, which I believe we got to at the outgone year. What has become very instructive for me is how people who are supposed to be exemplars of something to be done right are those who remain within the cocoon of political non-development. If you look at all of the issues around the political sphere for the year 2024, you'd agree with me that we've not seen so much as we expect to see in terms of, the proper evolution of our politics. You do not want to remove River State from the scene that became a particular area where the conversations around rivers gives us memory we want to forget too quickly. How somebody who is the minister of the Federal Capital Territory still meddles with the politics in his own state, and this person got away with it. I wouldn't know what the strategy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is or was regarding River State. But I'm hoping that Wike will not form any cabinet if at all there's a second term for this president, or if at all the president has to do something right about him, because you should focus and respect the office that you occupy, which Wike has violated repeatedly. And I also think that it's instructive for everybody across the country to understand that Godfatherism is in the negatives right now. Yeah, you want to say something, please?
All right, Mr. Kono. Let's now look at another dimension to this, the off-cycle elections. In Edo State, for instance, we saw the alliance of political enemies to actually kick out the ruling party. What does that say about the political system?
Well, every politics has to do with strategy. If you look at the 2024 U.S. elections, you'd agree with me that independents like you have Kennedy, at some point when the elections were closed, he decided that, well, everybody who was supposed to vote for him should vote for Donald Trump. Then if you look at it also, we have alignment across the lines of ideology, even if people did not jump ship in terms of the political party that they actually stood for in the open. Most of those people actually have to align ideologically with either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Bringing it back home, if you look at the Edo State election, do not forget that there had been wranglings long before this time, especially before the person of Mr. Godwin Obaseki got a second term in office. And when he got the second term in office, it was also, along the side of wrangling and everything. Don't forget that the party that brought him to power appears to be the party that eventually unbundled him and sent him packing from office. So it tells you that certain things are possible in politics if people align. If you look at Aiyedatiwa, somebody could call him a governor of fortune, but don't forget that he completed a tenure. And had the opposition been strong enough, he would not have actually come back as governor of Ondo State. So it's a lesson that we must learn in terms of alignment along the sides of ideology, in terms of alignment along the side of the particular party we believe can deliver on our terms of reference. It's a very instructive experience in the 2024 political cycle. But what is key ultimately? Yes, please.
Yes, I was going to talk about, another angle, which is the decisions coming from the Supreme Court in the past year. It was just like a year of the Supreme Court, and very profoundly, all the governors that ran in the 2023 elections were actually returned. And I was curious as to what you consider to be the implication of that.
Well, I as much as I have my reservations about certain verdicts, I think what is key for us to not have recurrent issues alongside of post-election concerns is to really work thoroughly with INEC. I've made my recommendations in the past on different platforms that it is key for certain appointments to not be done by the president of a country, not because it's not in order per se, but because it will appear to give that institution a kind of a level of sanity and believability. I feel, and it's my candid opinion, that a sitting president should not be the one to appoint the INEC chairperson. The reason being that that same person appointed by the president would often have to oversee an elections that the president is part of. It's something that we need to sit down and review, more or less like the appointment of the Inspector General of Police. I have also recommended that it is key for the Police Service Commission and perhaps for certain groups of persons to actually be the one sending the name of the eventual qualified person to the president for eventual nomination or for eventual sanction. So if you look at the verdict from the court regarding the gubernatorial verdicts that we've had, while some of those outcomes leave you bewildered, it's also emanating from the courts of the country. So what is wrong with the judiciary? I think we need to zoom our lens on it to be able to get the better.
I hear you, Mr. Kono.
Yes.
All right, then. Political analyst Adeniyi Kono, thank you so much for your time on TVC News at 7.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. Have a good one. Thank you.